So it's a little over 50 years ago. Gamble and Will McLean took me on my first ride up the Ocklawaha River to the Silver River, on up into Silver Springs. Silver Springs, one of the world's first magnitude springs. At that time was producing 99.8% pure artesian spring water. Sadly, it's not that way anymore. Anthropologists tell us that the first people that lived there were known as the Timucua. They called it Ocali. There was lots of them, so many that they divided themselves up into different family groups, each with their own little chief. And so one day the beautiful Indian maiden Winona, the daughter of Chief Yemisi, meets Prince Chukwuta, firstborn son of Chief Ikihumki. And the two kids go swimming in the springs, and over time they hunt, fish, and spend a lot of time together. They decide they want to go ahead and get married. But it turns out the chiefs of the tribe decided who got married and when, and it turned out Chief Ikihumki and Chief Yemisi didn't like each other, so they forbade the marriage. So Chief Yemisi hid Winona in the forest. Chukwuta was told she was dead, but there's no force more powerful than love, and eventually the two youngsters find each other. They climb into a dugout, paddle out over the springs, and they exchange their marriage vows. And Chukwuta says, "We can no longer stay here amongst our people. We have broken the laws. Let us go to the place of our ancestors." And he pointed down to the deep, dark cave where all the water came from. The Timucua believed that's where their ancestors came from. As the sun came overhead, they thought they saw a little Indian angel waving to them from down below, and lovers embrace, they roll over the side of the dugout. Disappeared in that little dark cave to spend eternity in the land of their ancestors. You know, some say their spirits still come back to the springs, visible only to lovers. Out over the silvery water, out over the silver springs, I hear the murmurings of creation. I hear the sounds of untamed things, night starlight and silvery water, keep calling me back to Silver Springs. Oh, I feel the nearness of God as I go there. I feel the touch of angels' wings. You know, it's like looking down from on top of a mountain, peering deep into the springs. Water so pure and translucent reveals the marvels about which I sing. Oh, there are stories of lovers lost in these waters. Some say their spirits come back to the springs. Prince Chukwuta and his beautiful Winona. Some say their spirits are hovering over the springs. Ah, what of Claire Douglas and Bernice Mayo? Was Aunt Scylla really 110? Is there such a place as the bridal chamber? Who would you expect to find there within? Framed in the power and the beauty of nature, oh, it has strange and mystic ways. Voices that call from out of nowhere, singing in the song, Silver Springs. You know, Florida's first people thought water to be sacred, but they are gone now like the wind and the rain. But if they were here, they'd stand up to injustice, unable to accept what is happening to our springs. Oh, it's a rotten egg odorous civilization, pouring nitrates into our springs. Tell me, how can we poison these precious waters when it's that water that keeps alive all human beings? Out over the silvery water, out over the silver springs, I hear the murmurings of creation, I hear the sounds of untamed things. Out over the silvery water, out over the silver springs, oh, I hear the murmurings of creation, I hear the sounds of untamed things.